Alex, it's Raphael, and thank you so much for reaching out. And I am, it is such a privilege to be a part of these two projects that you mentioned. That is, of course, Mass Effect and Once Upon a Time. I've been an actor for a long time, and you come to every single project that you do with, all of your heart and soul and everything you can give, with, of course, the hope that it will find, the bird will find its flight and be on its way, and you will have done your job. In these two cases, and a few other notable ones along the way, but they are really, honestly, the exception in a career, is just that they both exceeded my wildest imaginations in terms of what could have happened. The Mass Effect community is an astonishing community worldwide. To be a small part of it is it's such a privilege, and I am. BioWare created this sort of masterpiece, this sort of remarkable collection of relationships. When most of the games at the time when we started were just basically about shooting things, this was a game that really actually created complexity and emotional life, and brought more women into gaming than any other game at the time. Again, because of the relationships, and I think the role playing, and they obviously transformed something. I think they from what I understand, this is not my idea, but things that I've read, they were a part of kind of changing the conversation. God bless BioWare. They just are, the top. It was so fun to do it. It was so fun to kind of watch it kind of open up. It was extremely powerful when finally they ended it or called it quits. Obviously, it created quite the brouhaha when it did, and then they obviously created all the additional content to kind of help with that. I know, having visited BioWare in Edmonton, just how I don't know what it's like to be a bee in a hive, but this was probably as close as I've ever experienced it, and from there also just this sort of deep sense of kind of like mission and passion and connectedness to an idea and a concept of doing great work. When I was there, I think they were releasing like Dragon Age 2 or something. They were just right on the cusp of it, and I just remember this kind of just intensity in the air, and this just everywhere every room you walked into were just sort of filled with artisans, in various capacities, doing any number of things to kind of make something really truly special. So again, it's just an amazing thing to be a part of that. As well, also then Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time was. Seemed like a clever idea, and I loved the script. I thought, oh, this is great, but they'll never be able to do this. This is way too ambitious. And then when we ultimately got, was it screened and we got to sort of see it, the cast was sort of invited before we knew that it was actually going to be picked up as a series, and we all sat there when the lights came down, astonished by what we had seen, because it so sort of exceeded any possible our wildest imaginings were sort of so far exceeded by kind of what they finally delivered, and again, just some sort of a synergy, some sort of combination of its parts that kind of was greater than the sum of its parts. Well, that expression. It became something bigger, and again, everyone involved was so remarkably talented, and of course the people in front of the camera, but the people behind the camera to a person were just they were so good at what they did, and they cared deeply about what they were doing. It seems to be in both cases, I guess I can sort of say, if there was an elision to be made and a lesson to be drawn, it's not just the I want to do good work, but I want to do good work because I care about it, and because there's a heart in it, and I think that communicates. I am regularly astonished by the people that I've been able to meet, and from what I hear, how Mass Effect or Once Upon a Time has touched lives, and now of course with Disney Plus sort of recirculating Once Upon a Time, it's obviously clearly been discovered by a whole new generation of younger people. I mean, it's been 10 years, right? So since we first made it, so 10 years plus probably now. So there's hours of viewing pleasure courtesy of Disney Plus. We love them. So anyway, I'm really glad you reached out, and thank you for being such a big fan of the game. Thank you for your kind words, and I'm storytelling games and the what BioWare did clearly shattered some glass ceiling, and I think reoriented the way in which many games are conceived and played. And so I've even heard someone reference in an article that BioWare to Mass Effect was similar to, in a way, the way when Star Wars came along and just sort of changed the game. Changed the game. I mean, for all that went after. It's a pretty grand reference, but again, it's not mine. But clearly there was something in it, some combination of lightning in a bottle that they captured. So anyway, those are my stories. I hope you have a wonderful day, Alex. I wish you the very best, and perhaps one day, if we're all lucky enough to be in a convention, maybe we'll get to kind of meet in real time. And until then, I wish you the best, Commander. All right. Cheers. Take care.